off the search party, people. Invisible Energy Minister Marg McCuaig-Boyd has finally reappeared. Now, I don't know where she was all summer while Deputy Premier/Health Minister Sarah Hoffman was quarterbacking the energy portfolio, but she's back. Maybe Marg McCuaig-Boyd took her own advice and went to BC for work. Who knows? Anyways, it was a long summer of absenteeism for McCuaig-Boyd. She was completely invisible as her NDP government decided to sue itself to overturn Alberta's long-standing power contracts with power retailers. These are contracts made void because the NDP made them unprofitable through their very own carbon tax. McCuaig-Boyd is the energy minister, so this is her mess to fix. Now, where has she been? McCuaig-Boyd came back from the summer vacation many of us can't afford to take, feeling refreshed and looking to fight. And she picked one with Wild Rose leader Brian Jean. Yesterday's protester freakout at the Energy East hearings in Montreal led to an anti-oil protester storming the panel, Montreal Mayor Denis Coderre pouting and leaving, and the hearings being shut down indefinitely after the police had to be called. So in response to the crap show the NEB hearings are becoming, Brian Jean released a statement that said, and I quote, "Albertans were told that in exchange for paying $9 billion in carbon taxes over the next 5 years, projects like Energy East would be given a fair shake by the radical left and its activists within the environmental movement. It is crystal clear that there is no appeasement of these groups. There will be no social license gained by taxing Albertans." End quote. And Marg McCuaig-Boyd was having none of it. She came out of her gopher hole and parroted the government line about how their new welcome the enemy behind the gates strategy to energy development is getting things done. Seriously, it's like a Trojan horse strategy, except there is no horse and no strategy. Basically, the Trojans walk right up, ring the doorbell, and you invite them in, and then you pay them $600 per day to fight against you. Now, this is what McCuaig-Boyd said to the CBC in response to Brian Jean's comments, and I quote, "I think, first of all, Alberta's Conservative Party, they're still refusing to take climate change seriously, and it's certainly been that attitude that's resulted in more pipeline opposition and lost opportunities for Albertans. The federal Conservatives had a failed approach, and I see Mr. Jean is continuing that failed approach attitude." End quote. Except there were export pipelines built by the federal Conservatives. Now, I wish I could say I'm surprised the energy minister didn't know that, but I am not surprised at all. And just like that, we won't see or hear from McCuaig-Boyd for another 3 to 6 months. She's probably super exhausted. She is so low energy. She reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And Brian Jean is totally right. This level of crazy and irrational opposition to Alberta's oil is as high or worse than anything we have ever seen during Stephen Harper's time in office. But that's what you get when you empower and legitimize the crazy opposition to Alberta's oil the way the NDP have, by stacking the Oil Sands Advisory Group with anti-oil activists. And this mess is certainly not what Rachel Notley promised us. She said her carbon tax would appease these lunatics and get Alberta's oil to market. It's become a basic chant of the NDP government. Here.
And we said our environmental policies were stuck in the past. That was putting our economy at risk by blocking our access to new markets. So we fixed that too, announcing a climate leadership plan that will create new jobs and erase any doubt about our environmental record.
The no to everything crowd will never be okay with using Alberta's oil. Their funding from the Tides Foundation and the Rockefellers depends on it. No amount of steep, crippling carbon taxation, no amount of energy poverty inflicted on Albertans, no amount of anti-oil kooks on our energy panels will change any of that. There's no need to make Albertans poorer to try to change their minds. Their empty minds are already made up. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.